back in Week 4. The Colts want a defensive grinder in their first matchup against the Jaguars. Can Jacksonville avoid the sweep? The answer comes your way next on Madden Football.
Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports.
Here's Isaiah Rodgers to return. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Called it the 26.
So the Colts now coming out for their opening drive. They'll be led out by the #1 overall pick back in 2015 out of Florida State, Jameis Winston.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the one interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown passes.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets. And bottom line, how do they get a win?
These two teams met in Indy earlier in the year with the Colts coming out on top. So a win here in Jacksonville would give them the season series.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Here's Winston. He's going to let this one go deep. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down.
Love the idea, love the concept, but you got to leave a little room on the sideline so he can fade into it when he makes the catch. That was thrown too close to it for the receiver to make a play.
On 3rd down, Winston. Jaguar pressure and a Jaguar sack.
Kevin Chason drops him for a loss of 14 yards, and it also brings up 4th down.
Out is Rigoberto Sanchez on 4th down to punt this thing. And last week in the loss, 5 punts as he gets this one away. Taken from just outside the 30. That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line. Out to the right here to Shepard. 3 yards the gain there, 2nd down.
These two teams met up earlier in the year back in Week 4, and it was the visitors getting the win there, so they'll be looking for the sweep back here at home. First carry for the Clemson man, Travis Etienne.
Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's 3rd down.
But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Hey, echo. From the shotgun, Lawrence.
That's caught by his tight end, Evan Ingram. And he will go out right near the 35-yard line.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the 3rd one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
Here's Ronald Jones, first carry for the USC man.
How best to describe that one? I'd say right down Broadway on that run.
A straight ahead running. I think that might be something we see a lot of between the tackles today.
Well, he's enjoying things so far here this afternoon. Sees a crease and bursts through it for a solid gain.
On 1st and 10, it's Etienne.
And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
4 yards remain for 2nd down. And now they'll throw it with Lawrence.
Steps away to his left.
And Lawrence going to smartly hit the deck here as he is able to pick up the first down in the process.
Offensively, they liked their situation, so they tried to take a shot downfield, but no one was open. So it was tuck it in run time, and he picks up a first down.
Now Jones. And that'll get him halfway there as he takes it from the 6 to the 3-yard line.
And Brad, they went to a nickel defense, and that's a surprise this close to the goal line, because ordinarily you use the back end of the end zone, the sidelines as extra defenders, and you want bigger people on the field to try and help against the run.
Etienne. And he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now third down coming up.
Not only was that a terrific play, but that loss of yardage they created this close to their own goal line, that gives them a little breathing room now as they move them back.
And they're breathing fire a little bit right now, aren't they?
A lot of confidence being shown by them at this point of the game.
He's got it. Touchdown, Jaguars. Ronald Jones, his second touchdown on the season. And the Jags have taken the early lead. Extra point by Blankenship is up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. So that one a pretty time-consuming 10-play drive. And it culminates in a Jags touchdown. So after the touchdown, here's Blankenship kicking off. Rodgers on the return. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. Second drive coming up here for the Indianapolis Colts. And they dipped a game below 500 following the loss last week. And you get the sense that maybe this team's at a little bit of a crossroads here.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it, because what's that old malaprop? If you come to a fork in the road, take it. Because this crew, they're losing ground fast. They've got to start winning some ball games. And the good teams, they're starting to separate themselves, and these guys are being left behind. But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
Oh, I see you nodding your head along with me, partner, because it's pretty obvious what they were trying to do there on the drag route. With his speed, they're hoping he can turn the corner and maybe take this to the house. But that was excellent work defensively to make sure once he caught it, he wasn't going anywhere.
Jameis to throw it. And that is incomplete.
Looks like a second empty possession to start the game, and certainly not the way you want to start when you're coming off of a loss last week. Every team talks about starting fast. They're hoping on their next possession, it can be a delayed fast start and get them going.
And that hits at the 6 and carries into the end zone for a touchback. So time to see Jacksonville again on offense for the second time here in this game. They, of course, coming into this one in the midst of a tough losing streak. They did get helped out by the open week last week, and in talking with him, all indications were, Charles, that was a very helpful break.
Yeah, I know a lot of teams, coaches, they hate taking time off in the midst of a losing streak because they think they have to stay on their toes and punch their way out of it. But occasionally, you get that open week, you step back, evaluate what's been going wrong, see what you can put in that can move you forward, and maybe you get a chance to breathe a little bit and kind of start over.
And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, and it's going to lead to 3rd down. So, Charles, you talk about this head coach, and let's face it, this season certainly has not gone the way many had expected or at least hoped. And I think we saw some of that frustration boil over at his weekly press conference earlier this week.
Yeah, we certainly did, didn't we? Because, let's face it, he's heard the whispers, and they're growing louder that he shouldn't be around next year. He essentially stormed out of that meeting you just referenced with the reporters. How did he end it? We're done here. Well, that's a function of losing and all the pressure that's on him. You hear about pressure creating diamonds? In this case, it's bursting the pipes of the coach. Well, it's almost as if they didn't leave the field after their first drive. They picked right up where they left off. Another good throw there. And this offense, humming here in the early going.
On the counter, ETN. And no room to maneuver there. Give him a yard up to the 47. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Now Lawrence to throw. And able to find Alan Lazard. And he'll go down inside the 45 before going out of bounds. Now from Colts territory, here's a 1st and 10 at the 43.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
And down to the 36-yard line here. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3. They'll run it. This is James Robinson. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. He'll lose a yard on the play, so now they need 3 yards on 3rd down. Lawrence. The open man is Shark. It's complete. And he is going to have a Jags first down. They needed 3. He doubled that. He got 6.
As an unbiased observer, I think it would have been interesting to see what they would have done if they hadn't gotten the first down there. But since they did, I guess the point is moot.
Yeah, they're right there in that middle ground, field goal range, punt, go for it. But as you said, they picked it up. And flags come in as he gets forward for about 3 yards. Now let's check on the call. That's Jawan Taylor, the right tackle. A quick throw. Here's Shepard. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play.
Well, you know, this club, there were some reports earlier in the week, and most have heard this by now, the so-called unnamed sources that were saying all is not rosy in that locker room. There's whispers that 1 or 2 guys, CD, have kind of had enough of how things are going and have been going. How would you handle that as a coach?
Well, you and I both know all the coaches that we've dealt with and come in contact with. They'd love to get their hands on those unnamed sources, wouldn't they?
They're going for Lazard, but this is intercepted. Picked off by Kenny Moore. There he goes left side. He's at the 30, 10, and he will bring it back. An interception return for a Colts TD. So they had a good drive going, a chance to build on this first half lead, but now you kind of feel like we got it. And now, as with every potential turnover, they're going to take a second look at this just to make sure. Zane Gonzalez on for the extra point. It's up and good, and we're tied at 7 here in quarter number 2. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. Here's Chris Claybrooks to return. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20. The Jags offense now gets set and heads back onto the field. And following the pick six, and they have decent field position in throwing that pick six. We'll see how they attack this drive.
And I think all you say to your guy is, listen, let's just take care of the football a little bit better. Make some better decisions on this drive, and they'll probably help him a little bit with maybe some really high percentage throws early to let him get settled back in.
But they told him and they told us they've got confidence. That's not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem at all. They just want to make sure they get things settled down a little bit for their offense and give their defense a little bit of a chance to rest.
They go play action now. Lawrence.
And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
You know, you're following up on this head coach and the pressure that he is under. CD, I want to switch it to you because you've been on winning teams, but I know you've been in similar situations too where things just are not going well. How do you approach that as a player?
It's a tough approach, Brandon, because you actually have to do the opposite of what you would think. You know, in your mind, you're thinking, I redouble my efforts, I go harder. In a sense, you have to back off a little bit. You have to do a little bit less.
The Colts are going to get him. Down he goes. Sheldon Rankins abruptly ends that play with a sack.
He was still looking through his progressions and going through his receiver options, and while he was doing that, the defense got to him quickly in the pocket.
And it was a great example of zone coverage. Well executed, well coordinated. All the receivers were covered, and he couldn't evade the rush back in the pocket.
A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt. And the Colts will go on offense here, 1st and 10.
Indianapolis offense ready to go again.
They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
A good run, got 7 on 1st. Here's 2nd and 3.
From the gun, it's Taylor.
And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football. In that situation, that's almost a tendency breaker.
1st and 10, Taylor now.
And he's going to take this across midfield into Jacksonville territory. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
This will be taken in by Michael Pittman.
And he's going to have another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Jaguars' 36.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, tight, sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead air.
And the pressure gets there, and Winston goes down.
Devon Hamilton coming right up the gut, gets in there for a loss of 9. It seemed like he kept going through those progressions, and I thought he might dump that underneath, but he couldn't get rid of the football in time.
And I have to wonder if he was thinking while he was back there, I wish there were a lot less progressions on this play, just someone that I can dump the ball to and get it out of my hands.
Coming up at halftime, we remind you once again that we're going to check in with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL as we reach now, hard to believe, the halfway point of the season. Time flying.
It certainly is. Time to get the sweaters out, my man.
The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down. Went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. Winston now. They'll try and set up the screen to Hines. Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. They do get 7 out of that, but not enough to prevent a 4th down. And his kick is good. He got every bit of that one as it's good from 56 yards out. These kickers now, it used to be that a 50-plus yarder was cause for celebration. Now seemingly automatic.
Yeah, isn't it funny when we prepare for a game, when you look at the backgrounds of these kickers, it's interesting, isn't it, to find out they were all-state quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, all-state wrestlers, right? Baseball players. We're finding athletes all along, and now they're just specialists putting it through the posts.
Travis Etienne and the Jags offense set to take over again here. They've given him some touches. They haven't had a lot of success on the ground. Do you maybe keep going to that well, or do you mix it up more?
I think you mix it up more, try and loosen things up. Get the defense to react to other people, other plays, but don't forget about it. That's your horse. You know, Secretariat lost twice in his career.
So educational. That's very true, kids. Look it up.
I'll give them credit for a good read right there because they read the man coverage on the right side and sent the tight end a few steps down the field and then angled him to the left on a crossing route. And he was able to get enough separation on this play to turn it into a nice gain.
They'll roll him out right. And he's out of bounds just before the midfield stripe at the 49. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be second and a couple.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
I got you. Hey, 58's the mic. Well, 58's the mic. I'm coming after you.
They go play action with Lawrence. Steps away. And Lawrence going to smartly hit the deck here as he is able to pick up the first down in the process.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
They've given up a few first downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
2nd and 10.
Come on out here. Come get some. Come get some. Come on here. Come get some. He don't want it. 58, boys. 58. 58. Mike. Man, that's trash. That's trash. Watch that screen. Watch it.
Here's Lawrence to throw. And that's complete to Shepard. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30.
That was a really nice job there, stretching zone coverage by running that route deep enough before breaking it back towards the sideline and being open.
And a precise throw for the reception in the first.
Look at me. Zipper. Hey, Foxtrot.
On 1st and 10, it's Lawrence. And he fires one incomplete. Defensively, Charles, they continue to really limit this offense as far as yardage goes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been assignment sound, staying in their lanes, keeping proper leverage, and communicating well, too.
Mike, 53. 53. Mike.
Throwing again here, it's Lawrence. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down. So back-to-back incompletions. 3rd down here in 10, but you're still in field goal range.
And that's the thing to keep in mind. They're in field goal range, so now you don't take any unnecessary risks, but you try and find a way to get back to what you were doing earlier in the drive in order to finish this one off.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well.
Has to be a little bit of frustration there. Back-to-back incompletions. Receivers blanketed on both attempts, this time on 3rd down.
And that is going to sail wide right. It's no good.
There we go.
It's been a nightmare season. You're well under 500. Your defense hasn't really kept you in a lot of games, and now it's spilling over to the kicking game. That's 3 points you've got to be able to bank on.
The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. And leading 10-7, they may just want to get this to the locker room. Winston's throw taken in by Pascal. The Colts going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 25 seconds to go here in half number 1. They'll come up on a 2nd and 4 now from the 40-yard line. Throwing, Winston. A good throw here, finding Pascal. Now the Colts going to burn the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 20 seconds to go in the first half. The first down throw for Winston. Now this will be swung out wide for Taylor. Now the Colts will use their 3rd and final timeout as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the first half. On 2nd down, it's Taylor. And he'll get this down only to about the 46. Just a gain of a yard in what all likelihood will be the final play of the first half. And now they'll take a timeout defensively. After the 2nd down play, they burn the timeout, making him sweat out the final few ticks here in the 2nd quarter. They'll try and run for the first with Taylor. And some room to maneuver. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. So we come to halftime here with the visiting Colts. Well, why don't we hold off on the halftime update after all? Seems like everyone's ready to go here for the second half in Week 8 in the NFL. All right, Coach, thanks. Yeah, both teams likely to make some changes in what's been a closely fought battle to this point. Second half ready to get underway. The Colts with a lead, and they will receive the football. Out come the Jaguars now as he'll go on offense first here in this 3rd quarter. And they're on the short end of the scoreboard here. Charles, what adjustments, if any, do you think they need to make for the second half?
Well, paraphrasing the gold medal hockey winning coach Herb Brooks, I just say you continue to play your game. Throw the ball. They had success doing it in the first half, so make sure you keep getting the ball to your playmakers, a little bit more to the perimeter perhaps, but above all, play your game.
And Lawrence going to smartly hit the deck here as he is able to pick up the first down in the process.
So in this case, you'd think the defense would be collapsing to the left side of the field, and they forced him to his left, so he just tucked it away and picked up some yardage.
A handoff for Etienne. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Big Sheldon Rankins there to bring him down. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle. That's what we saw right there.
Yeah, and that's what their job is. And really, a lot of the time, they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game because...
And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Quiddy Pay able to record his 5th sack of the season.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
And they try to set up the screen, but that almost disaster as it falls incomplete. Very nearly a turnover, but it's 4th down. Here's Logan Cook now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. On the return, it's Rodgers. So they will accept the penalty and move forward.
Here we go.
Automatic first down.
Good starting field position for the Colts as they have it 1st and 10 at their own 46. A carry by Taylor to start the drive. And he's going to take this across midfield into Jacksonville territory. 45 yards on the ground for him so far.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Throwing on 2nd and 3. Winston. And the Jags get to him as down he goes. Josh Allen, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year.
I'm sure a lot of time was spent in the locker room, Charles, talking with his defense about setting a tone here in the 3rd quarter when you're down on the scoreboard. A sack like that, maybe that can get him going.
Yeah, you have to believe exactly what you just said, that they got together and said, let's be some change agents here. Let's go ahead and turn things around. Let's be the force that gets us going here in the 2nd half and puts us in a position to find a way to win the game.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And this one's out of bounds. Should be inside the 10, I think it is. At the 6-yard line. And for an offense that is struggling, this is not where you want to start from. Great punt.
Fantastic punt. And for all those who wonder, what do punters do during the course of practice each and every day? The best ones do what we just saw there. Work on positioning the football and helping their team.
Now Lawrence on 1st down.
Finds his tight end Ingram. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2.
Ran a perfect defense in this situation. Would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets his football out shy of the 30 to the 29. He's obviously a bit of a shorter running back. Sometimes when he goes up the middle like that, he gets lost in there, and then he pops out for 10, 20 yards.
I actually asked NFL linebackers if that was true. Do you actually lose sight of some of the smaller running backs? And all of them confirmed that that can be a problem. Think of it this way. 2 of the top running backs in NFL history, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, both 5'10".
A good run there on 1st down, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 2.
Play action. It's Lawrence.
And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down.
Right now, the story of this game continuing to be the defenses, because the offenses, they're finding it difficult to establish any rhythm whatsoever.
I like how you come to us in praise of defense, Brandon, because that's exactly right. That was an incompletion force there, but we've seen it throughout this game. Both of these defense coordinators, they're a step ahead of their offensive counterparts.
They'll run with Etienne.
And he will be very close to a 1st down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the 1st level, make sure that block's secure before they slide off and try and chip someone at the 2nd level.
Probably helps your confidence level on those 4th down sneaks to have a quarterback as tall as he is.
Yeah, you're talking about being able to extend at the end to make sure the ball gets to the 1st down marker, but also he has to be able to drop his hips and get down behind that offensive line in order to move forward, because if he just runs it straight up and down, you and I both know that they'll snap him backwards. Well done there, well executed.
So a loss of 5, and it'll be 2nd down.
That's the danger, Charles, of running plays like this for your wide receiver. They can hit big or they can be duds.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, because if they're forced to try and go around defenders behind the line of scrimmage, sometimes you can give yardage in order to gain it. But in this case, they gave yardage and didn't get it back.
58, right over there.
On 2nd and 15 now. Lawrence. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Grover Stewart forced his way through, drops him for a loss of 10 yards.
But nothing takes a start to have a good drive quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He sets up the screen to Jones. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. 3 yards, all they could muster there, and it'll bring up 4th down. Here's Logan Cook now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So here are the Colts to take over. They're trying to get back on track. They had the loss last week to the Dallas Cowboys. The good news, they've got the lead right now. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. To throw, Winston. Out to the right and complete to Pittman. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
They go to the ground again with Taylor. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the 1st.
I think I saw a lot of shoulders just drop there. And what I mean by that is they finally were able to relax a little bit because that was an important play call. They needed to pick up that 1st down at this stage of the game.
Yeah, couldn't afford another quick drive and out. Jameis now on 1st down. And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete. You got a young quarterback, maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that, because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best, their arm. He's slinging it on this one. Had a wide open target, but didn't have the proper footwork to increase his accuracy.
To throw on 2nd and 10, Winston. He's going to have the hook up to Gage. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. Back now in Jacksonville. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. The Colts on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. Jameis to throw it. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down. Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez. He's been terrific so far. This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. Jacksonville set to go again offensively. Their defense accomplished step 1 of the mission. They forced the punt. Now they'll look to erase that deficit and take a 4th quarter lead. They'll start on the ground. ETN. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away. And they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. Here's Lawrence. He'll fight his man, LaVisca Chenault. And he will have a Jaguars first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
This defense has certainly had an outstanding second half, haven't they? I know they just gave up a first down there, and for the offense, they're hoping that that's something that they can jumpstart with and maybe start to move the ball a little bit better. But it's been tough sledding for them here the entire second half.
On first down, Lawrence. And the pass is intercepted. He was looking for Ingram. Picked off by Julian Blackmon. And he will bring it back. An interception return for a Colts TD.
Personal foul. Rubbing his passes. Defense.
Well, when you're leading in the 4th quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
So now a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 after roughing the passer. Lawrence with the handoff to Robinson. And the lane closes up quickly as he'll get about 3 down to the 38. Well, sometimes it's hard to take your eyes off this guy at the linebacker position. He can really cover some ground, and he did there to make that play.
Yeah, this defense as a whole has really been flying to the football all game long. They have not allowed too much of anything, and here's another example. A great play there to get in and disrupt it before it could get going.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Here's a give to ETN.
Fighting his way down to about the 35-yard line.
And the question now, can they get closer on 3rd down? A field goal from here, you're looking at right about a 52-yarder. From the gun, it's Lawrence. And Ingram hauls it in. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. 5th catch of the game for him there.
Yeah, the tight end position is now becoming a volume pass catcher. It used to be occasional, right? Safety valve. Throw one to him every so often, but mainly they want him out there to block. Nowadays, an integral part of the passing game, and they create such great mismatches that they often become the leading receiver.
And this throw a bit late as he couldn't reach back for it.
Well, when you've got a tight end who can run, you've got to give him a shot to unlock the defense. Want to see what they can get, taking the big shot downfield. That one winds up incomplete.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10.
17, guys. Check him out. He's going to sit right over the middle. Watch the middle. X3, 218, chop it. Let's go.
Now Lawrence. Drops it to Jones in the flat. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
They go play action now. Lawrence. They'll complete this to Ingram as tight end. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. Call it a loss of 2 there on the play. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. Blankenship's kick is good. And in the 4th quarter, this game is tied. Well, you talk about clutch. That one was right down Broadway, and this game's all even here in the 4th.
Yeah, he didn't leave any doubt, did he? Good snap, good hold, dead center. Almost like a big-time golfer in a major, firing at a pin from the fairway, trying to win the tournament going down the stretch.
And now Indianapolis set to take the field. And we essentially have a brand-new ball game. After that last field goal has tied us all up, we brace for what should be an exciting rest of this 4th quarter. Nyheim Hines, his first carry. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And no more. No gain on the play there. 2nd down. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
On 2nd down now, it's Taylor. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
One of the bigger plays in the game thus far. The crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down. The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. The Colts on 3rd down, lacking much success, just 2 for 7 to this point. This is 3rd and 8. That's complete to Jack Doyle, the tight end. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down. So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. 39 yards on the punt, give him just 1 yard on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville offense ready to go back to work. And right now, probably just one thing in his mind. It's getting back to the hot start because he's really faded. And now on the pitch, the ball's loose. And the Colts pick it up. And they are going to score on the fumble return. Touchdown, Indianapolis. So how about that play? We had a tie ball game. Defense comes up huge. That's the definition of a big play for this defensive unit.
Not something that you see that happens often to a guy like, let's say, Jamal Charles. Remember 2015? Fumbled it in a key situation.
Roby, right?
Yes, exactly right. Bradley Roby picked it up and altered the ball game.
Gonzalez good on the extra point, and that makes it a 17-10 score. Clay Brooks to return it. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville offense ready to go back to work. I would imagine you want to win every game big, but if you're a quarterback in the NFL, this is the spot that you love.
You've been dreaming of it since you were a kid, playing in the backyard or the front yard, wherever, where you went through those imaginary situations. Now it's real, though. What practice have you put in since the OTAs, the mini camps, preseason camp, sequence of plays, get the ball to the outside, get it out of bounds, save your timeouts, move the ball downfield to get your team in position to win the game.
And a field goal, of course, no good. They need a score. They go play action with Lawrence. Flushed out right. And now a fumble. The ball's out. And I believe the Colts have recovered. Yes, they have. And that play just looked a little helter-skelter from the start. That's the risk as a quarterback. Once you take off with that football, you might fumble it, and he did.
And he was going for the reward, which is gaining yardage, breaking down a defense. But you're right about the risk. Always lurking out there, someone always trying to get to the football. Try to find a place to cover up and slide and protect what you've earned.
Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts. That's going to be their second. They'll be left with one more plus the 2-minute warning, and we'll be back. Here's Winston. Middle of the field, he finds Pascal. And he's got this down to the 35.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So the Colts in possession of the football as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look to try and finish this one off. They'll run on 1st down. It's Taylor, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. They run once more with Taylor. 64 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
I like a guy who understands the situation. I also like a guy who you look at him and you say, that looks like a guy who knows the coach is going to say, guess what? You drop this one, you'll be carrying around a training facility for an entire week.
Maybe flashback to high school or college, carrying it around campus, right?
The old gauntlet drill, right? Anyone get the ball out while he's sitting in class and bring it back to the coach? He's in big trouble.
And Taylor, I don't think he got there. No, he did not. Unable to break free, and he's marked short. He needed 2, he got 1, and that's going to leave him with 4th down at a yard.
Well, they picked up a portion of it, but not all that they needed. Now that leads to a decision on 4th and 1. Let's see what they decide to do.
Gonzalez's kick is good. And they double him up here. That makes our score 20-10. So barring something extraordinary here in the closing stages, that field goal should just about put this one on ice.
Yeah, we've got to find 2 scores. So, we're not going to exactly move it over there yet. It can be done, but boy, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for them, isn't it?
Yeah, they would have to move incredibly quick and have some luck, too. So here now, Lawrence and the Jaguars. Down 20-10, 26 seconds to go. Being chased out left. And he will get out of bounds here to stop the clock, but not a huge pickup there. 6, maybe 7. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down. Lawrence will throw. He's going to let it fly. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. And that's caught inside the 30. And he'll be taken down, but first he gets deep into Indianapolis territory. A big 3rd down play there for the Jags. So this one winds up an Indianapolis victory, and it was their defense that led the way, allowing just 3 points, that lone field goal in the entire second half.
And remember the old adage, offense sells tickets. Defense does what?
Wins championships.
And in this game, maybe a championship wasn't won, but a game was by the defense, right? Held them to just a field goal. That's a heck of a job. I mean, when they went out there with that determination and a pretty good game plan, pretty good idea of what they wanted to accomplish, just love the execution, love the tenacity, love the way they finished.
So for the Colts, they're back to 500 as they move to 4-4 on the year. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to Philly to take on the Eagles. Meanwhile, for the Jaguars, things are definitely going south quickly as they fall now to 1-6. And they'll try to get back